Hello guys and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to see how Nykaa became the go-to platform for beauty. So the company is coming out with an IPO soon and it's one of the few IPOs that I've actually been waiting for. So let's start with a brief intro. Now Nykaa was started in 2012 by Falguni Nayar after quitting her job as an investment banker. So the story goes that she used to visit the US a lot and was inspired by Sephora, the international cosmetics chain, and she wanted to make an Indian version of it, but online. And she did this at the age of 49 when most people think of retiring, and that's commendable. Later in 2018, Nykaa launched Nykaa Fashion. Same year, they also launched Nykaa Man, which addresses men's grooming need. Today, Nykaa is synonymous with beauty. Not only is Nykaa the largest platform for buying beauty products, but also beauty related content. More than 55 million people visit its platform every month. And now, before we proceed, it's worth mentioning that Falguni Nayar and her family own more than 50% of Nykaa, which is a rare thing to see in these tech startups of today. Now, the whole beauty industry works on a very simple principle: tap into women's insecurities about the physical appearance and convince them that they need to buy more of these beauty products to look better. That's the harsh reality of how this industry works, most of it at least. So let's begin by understanding the Indian beauty industry. So as you can see on your screen, the overall BPC market in India is growing at a healthy rate. Even before COVID struck, it was growing at 13% and is expected to grow at 12% in future. Now, the best thing about this industry is that it's relatively recession proof. Interestingly, lipstick sales tend to go up during trying times, and this is something the Americans first observed during World War II. And the nature of the industry is that, in spite of there being so many brands, it's a high margin business for most participants. And there's plenty of room for this industry to grow as our country develops. What are some of the challenges faced by consumers with the traditional BPC retail in India? BPC means beauty and personal care. Firstly, there are limited products due to space constraint in a store. Beauty is a category where women like to spend a lot of time browsing and comparing different products before making the purchase decision. Plus, oftentimes, what they want is out of stock at the stores. Secondly, there's a problem of counterfeit products. India BPC segment is heavily dominated by local kirana stores and department stores. And here customers often end up with counterfeit products. Even if they don't, there's always that doubt about the genuineness of the product. Lastly, luxury and prestige brands are generally sold in premium locations, thus limiting consumer access in this segment. Now, the online BPC market in India has grown at a much faster rate than the overall market, 60% CAGR in the last 4 years. The online market in 2020 was about 91 billion rupees or 9,100 crores. Now, that's just one fifth the size of the US BPC market. Plus, online penetration of 8% in India is very low compared to that of the US, which has 15 to 20% online penetration. So, Nykaa alone contributes more than 20% of this online BPC market in India. Now let's look at the most important trends in the industry. Firstly, there's a role of social media and beauty influencers, and this is the most important one. Today, there's a greater awareness about beauty and skincare products, and women are on top of the latest trends. And most of this education is happening in the digital world: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms. Women follow beauty bloggers, influencers, celebrities, watch tutorials, and they educate themselves about beauty and skincare. So, gone are those days when you could just sell Fair and Lovely to everyone. Moreover, there's a lot more pressure on young women these days to present one's best self on social media. Now, it's bad for the individual, but for the beauty industry, that's good news. Secondly, majority of the sales today come from non-metro cities, and we have e-commerce and social media to thank for it. Today, even in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, women are up to date with the latest trends in beauty and fashion, and they have access to these products on the screens. 10 years ago, even if someone had the money, she had to go to a physical store in a metro to buy certain luxury and prestige brands. Because for a high-end luxury brand, setting up a physical store in a small town isn't lucrative enough. However, now they can cater to these customers online, so the growth is a lot faster in these cities. Lastly, in recent years, we have seen the entry of multiple national and international brands in the luxury and prestige category. And these are growing at a much faster rate than the mass segment. Also, a lot of consumers today care about the ingredients that go into making a product. And this has given rise to a lot of brands focusing on clean beauty. Especially since the pandemic, consumers have become more aware of their health and wellness needs. Then there's been a rise in the number of online first brands. More and more brands are realizing that going digital means they can save money on distribution and use that money to provide a better product and let customers find you through social media. Now, online fashion sector has grown at a 25% CAGR in the last 4 years. And in 2020, online fashion was 450 billion rupee industry. Now that's 5 times bigger than online beauty market. And even here, the penetration is very low compared to global peers. India is at about 12, both China and US have 35% online. And even in fashion, we are seeing rapid growth led by the growing online shopper base, especially from tier 2 and beyond cities. Even here, we are seeing similar trends caused by social media that we discussed earlier for the BPC segment. And we are seeing the emergence of digital first brands, adoption of e-commerce by designer brands, and increased variety across categories. Now let's talk about the opportunity size for Nykaa. So the total addressable market includes online and physical opportunity, and that's the right way to look at it because Nykaa is expanding its physical presence. So by 2025, the Indian BPC market is estimated to grow at 12% CAGR to approximately 2 trillion or 2 lakh rupees. And the Indian fashion market is estimated to grow at 18% to approximately 8.7 lakh crores. Nykaa obviously will go a lot faster because it's predominantly an online player. Now, even though the opportunity size in fashion is much larger than BPC, fashion industry is a lot more fragmented and it's unlikely that Nykaa or anyone will have a dominant share here. Now, before we proceed, you should know that Nykaa has a separate tab for women's beauty, men's grooming, and for fashion, which we'll come to later. Now, let's learn about the business by understanding why customers love Nykaa. Firstly, Nykaa provides a convenient shopping experience where you can browse multiple products from about 2,500 brands across categories like makeup, skincare, fragrance. They have domestic brands, international brands, and they have their own brands. Basically, there's just so much variety that you won't find anywhere else. And variety for the consumer is very important because, as you all know, women love browsing for beauty products as much as buying it. A lot of women will browse on 10 different occasions before finally making a purchase. And that's part of the experience for them. Now, over the years, Nykaa has gained the trust of consumers that the products sold on the platform will be genuine. They maintain their own inventory in the warehouses and they source directly from brands or the authorized distributors. And all this ensures authenticity of the product. Now, an integral part of Nykaa's success has been due to its ability to create content educate, and leverage the power of social media. So here's what Nykaa has done. Over the years, they've created a lot of engaging content with a strong focus on video. The how-to videos and beauty tips on YouTube and Instagram is something that has helped them build a strong online community. Nykaa alone generates about 10 to 15% of Indian beauty content on YouTube. Plus, Nykaa has the largest network of influencers, over 1,300 in fashion, beauty, lifestyle, makeup artists, celebrities, bloggers. So influencers can publish their own content on Nykaa's behalf on various digital platforms, and in exchange, they receive a commission for the sales generated. And even if you visit the platform, Nykaa's platform, to buy something, that focus on content and community building is very clear. You'll see a lot of curated collections inspired by celebrity trends, latest trends, and each product has so many ratings and reviews by loyal Nykaa consumers, and this helps others in the purchase decision. Now, you may think that even other online platforms have something similar, but Nykaa user reviews are a lot more useful because a lot of these reviews are by regulars and reviews carry a lot more useful information. For example, if someone wants to buy makeup and she goes through the product reviews, she can see the skin tone, and that helps when making an online purchase. So it's small things like this that really help consumers. Plus, the more the consumer uses Nykaa, the more personalized the shopping experience gets because of the data they gather over a period of time. So you have network effects at play here. More users make the content richer, and this drives more traffic on the platform. So just to reiterate, Nykaa is not just a marketplace, it's a whole community, and that's Nykaa's biggest moat. Now, Nykaa also has a physical presence because a lot of consumers require that touch and feel experience, especially for higher value categories such as fragrance and makeup. So they have 73 stores in three formats made for a different type of customer. Nykaa Luxe is the first one that offers a luxury beauty experience. It showcases prestige and luxury brands. Then you have Nykaa On Trend. These stores offer the current best-selling products. This curation is a selection of products that are trending on the online channels. And then you have Nykaa kiosks, and these are small units that you usually find in the shopping malls just after the entrance. Here, they mostly sell their own private labels. A lot of these stores have come up due to customer demand. Now, let's see how brands benefit from Nykaa. Let's think about this from the perspective of different types of brands. So, let's say you are a digital brand. In this case, you can rapidly scale your business by leveraging Nykaa's huge online platform. If you're a traditional brand, Nykaa gives you a chance to acquire millennial and Gen Z consumers by leveraging its role as an influencer. In the case of certain international brands, physical stores play an important role in brand building because potential customers might want to touch and feel the product, maybe ask a few questions. So, as a result, several global luxury brands such as Charlotte Tilbury, Huda Beauty, Pixie, and Tangle Teaser have chosen Nykaa to launch and sell the products in India. Even the Nykaa mobile app has a separate Lux store for luxury brands in order to present a more differentiated environment to buyers of such products. And most importantly, Nykaa behaves as a brand custodian rather than a seller. What this means is that Nykaa works very closely with brands to see what's the best strategy for the brand in terms of marketing, pricing, discounting, etc. Because brands are perceived by the customers in a certain light, and selling your products on Amazon with all the other brands can ruin your brand image. So Nykaa Fashion is a much smaller part of the business today. However, it is growing very fast. As I said earlier, during the start of the presentation, it was started in 2018. Today, it has about 1,350 brands across women, men's, kids apparel, and they also have home decor products. Now, you might ask, how is it different from Myntra, Ajio, or any other online retail marketplace? So, similar to the beauty segment, even here, they place a lot of emphasis on curation. So even though you'll find similar brands on all retail platforms, you won't find select styles or design on Nykaa because they don't think it's trendy enough. Secondly, discounting is less compared to other platforms. There's a conscious effort to sell items at full price or very little discount. So what happens is that typically when a brand is launching a new collection, the old stock is cleared at a discounted price, and this is the stock that you normally find on Amazon, Myntra, and other online platforms. Not so much on Nykaa. The focus is on selling the latest season's designs. And earlier this year, they opened the first physical store in Delhi, which means you can expect more stores in the future. So, like most tech platforms, you can see that Nykaa is still in its growth phase. But what's impressive is that it's profitable growth. And what's even more impressive is that everything Nykaa has achieved has been done with just 578 crores of primary investment. 578 crores is nothing compared to the thousands of crores being burned by all these startups that are still figuring out how to become profitable. So we can see that growth in EBITDA has been phenomenal because EBITDA margins have gone from 1.85 to 6.6% in last 3 years. Now on your screen, you can see that the GMV has grown at a CAGR of 56.6% over the last 3 years. Now, what is GMV? GMV is gross merchandise value, is the value of orders inclusive of taxes and gross of discounts. And it's a key metric for retail brands. Now, you can see that the GMV for both BPC and fashion has been increasing at a very fast pace. Fashion more because it's relatively a newer venture, and there was a drop in GMV due to COVID. And you can also see that GMV tends to go up during festivals. Now, last year, 70% of GMV was from existing customers. That just tells you how loyal Nykaa customers are. Now, let's look at two important expense items. Fulfillment cost, which means freight charges plus payment gateway charges plus packaging charges. That's first. Second, marketing charges, marketing costs. So both of which have been trending lower as a percentage of revenues. The reason I'm focusing on these expense items is because as revenues increase, these costs will further decrease as a percentage of sales. Now, the decline in marketing expense has been sharper, but that's largely because of reduced activity due to COVID. They'll have to increase marketing spends due to increased competition, but as a percentage of sales, I don't expect this to go up significantly. Now, look at the average order values of both BPC and fashion. These are the highest among online retail platforms. Rise in average order value in beauty is a combination of engaging content and higher trust. Trust has enabled consumers to shop for luxury brands and newer product categories. The AOV had increased in the first and second quarters of FY21 because Nykaa had to increase the minimum order value for free shipping due to COVID-related supply disruptions. But that has since normalized. For fashion, AOV is higher than peers because of reduced dependence on discounting, as we talked about earlier during the video. So, what can one expect from Nykaa in the future? So the story for most platforms is similar. Once you have a certain number of customers, the goal is to get into as many adjacencies as feasible. And this story isn't very different. Nykaa started as a beauty platform for women. Today you can find health and wellness products there as well. Recently, they launched the Global Store, which is an online channel where you can buy select BPC products of several prominent foreign brands from overseas retailers. In 2018, they expanded into fashion. Today, Nykaa Fashion has expanded into tech products like headphones, smartwatches, power banks, etc. They also have Nykaa Man, which sells men's grooming products. The reason I haven't talked about it in this video is because it's been 3 years and that hasn't exactly taken off. So I'm not sure what Nykaa's plans are for that category. You can also expect an expansion in physical stores. So currently, they have 73 stores and they target to reach 130 in the next few years. Now, that's for beauty, but I'm guessing they will use the IPO proceeds to set up fashion stores as well. Also, you will see more international brands that so far didn't have a presence in India. Now, Nykaa already has its own brands or private labels as they're called, and they plan on further developing these brands plus introducing some new ones. Now, private labels tend to have a gross margin as high as 70%, and Nykaa's overall gross margins have been around 40%. So that should be interesting here. Now, I get a lot of questions related to growth for these new tech companies. Like, how fast do I think Zomato, Paytm, or Nykaa can grow over the next 10 years? Now, that's a question which even the people running these companies can't answer. You can't predict growth beyond the next year for such high growth companies because high growth attracts capital and competition. So one has to monitor the space very closely. So today, Nykaa faces competition from the likes of Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra. But in terms of pure play online beauty retailers, its nearest competitor is a company called Purple. Now, Purple is much smaller and they focus more on the prestige customer who buy products between 200 to 400 rupees. But it is well funded and their investors expect them to gain market share. Plus, there are media reports that Tata Digital and Reliance are launching their own exclusive online beauty platforms. And why shouldn't they? Unit economics are good and it's a hugely underpenetrated market. But capital alone doesn't guarantee success. Companies will have to create content, build social networks, and gain consumer trust if they want to compete with Nykaa. So, growing competition is the key risk here. Then there's regulatory risk. The Indian government is proposing new e-commerce regulations, and there's the infamous data protection bill. Now, we don't know how exactly it will affect Nykaa and other e-commerce companies because there's nothing that's been finalized yet, but it's something worth following. Lastly, just a small comment on valuations. Nykaa is expected to be valued northwards of 25,000 crores at least. Now, that is 10 times FY21 sales. So a 10x price to sales multiple appears expensive to me, but considering the valuations given to other companies in the space, I don't think anyone's going to complain. So that's all for me today. I hope this was useful and thank you for listening.